Good day, everyone, and look at yourselves. Fantastic. This is a historic day for Newcastle and for the campaign against the imposition of health costs on all of us. I'm a member of the T4 Campaign Desk Committee, but I'm speaking to you today as a public health researcher on behalf of public health colleagues at Newcastle University. We are behind you. We've thoroughly looked at T4, looking at its impact on the well-being of people living near the port and people living along the coal ring corridor. We have concluded that pollution from T4 is a significant threat to public health. Most affected will be 32,000 people living alongside the coal corridor from Newcastle to Rutherford. The 23,000 children who live within a half a kilometer or attending schools within half a kilometer of the coal rail, and the 23,000 residents living close to Kooragang Island. Digging, blasting, transporting, unloading, and shipping coal is a dirty business. It produces airborne pollution of particles so small that they can get into your lungs and cause serious health problems, especially lung disease and heart disease. What we find most objectionable is that the T4 proposal is their denial that any disease burden will be imposed on the residents from noise and from pollution. T4 pollution comes with an unpaid health bill. Its cost will be charged to the victims and their families and to all of us who pay for the national health budget. This coal dust bill is not trivial. T4 activities along the rail and the coal loader will add 363 tons of small particles called PM10s into the air each year. Dr. Ben Ewald, who was in the band today playing his saxophone, well done Ben. Ben Ewald conservatively estimates that this will cost the local health services a further $29 million in medical expenses each year. But isn't coal the cheapest source of energy? No. No! Not when you add the cost of treating disease caused by coal-fired electricity, which in Australia is estimated at $2.6 billion per year. And the European Union just estimated how much they have to pay in burning coal for electricity, 43 billion euros every year. Coal loader expansion will make already poor air quality even worse. The long-term monitoring of sites close to the Hunter River shows us annual pollution averages that are higher than the World Health Organization standard. Our own dust monitoring, which Britt mentioned a few minutes ago, in December in Carrington, Tighes Hill, and Mayfield East, found consistent elevations above the national standards. We also observed, and this is most disturbing to me, extremely high spikes in dust levels coming from the rail line that are worrying and demand further study. But you might ask, don't our national health quality standards protect the community's health? They do not protect the health of people with chronic heart or lung disease, or people with active respiratory infections, asthmatics, infants, children, and the elderly who are made ill by lower levels of air pollution. Indeed, there's no safe threshold of pollution below which health problems vanish. For example, let's imagine 1 million people who, over a 3-day period, breathe air that is rated as safe. Standard, according to the standard for PM10. Should be fine, right? No. In fact, we would still expect 4 deaths for people breathing air that is seen to be clean by the standard. Now, Ben Ewald has made an interesting calculation. The daily standard for clean air, when looking at fine particle pollution, is equivalent to everyone in the population smoking 3 cigarettes each day, not the one that was just mentioned. Air quality standards are set by a committee. The committee decides what they believe are acceptable levels of health risk, not what the community thinks. Well, what about noise effects? And I've had a colleague just a few minutes ago complaining about the noise impacts. Intrusive day and nighttime noise levels will increase significantly. At full port capacity, we will experience 108,000 coal train pass-bys each year. That's 1 every 5 minutes. Residents living up to 370 meters from the track will hear nighttime noise at 60 decibels or more. Given that European night standard is 40 decibels, this impact will be intolerable for many people. Now, sleep is a biological necessity. Disturbed sleep from intrusive noise like this hurts us biologically, hurts us psychologically, especially children, elderly, pregnant women, and people under stress and shift workers. Another thing I want to mention is about the diesel exhaust coming from coal locomotives. Now, it's now classified as a human carcinogen. Even small background levels are likely to carry a small risk of cancer. Well, what will the diesel exhaust levels be when we have 108,000 trains powering by our houses? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. They haven't done the studies. Now, Yeah, why haven't they done the studies? They don't want to know. Burning coal is the single largest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. Burning 120 million tons from T4 will produce 300 million tons of CO2, or 55% of Australia's current emissions. The best science now predicts that 4 to 6 degree warming by the end of the century. The International Energy Agency states that to avoid a 4-degree rise by 2050, 2/3 of coal must be left in the ground. What are the economic costs of these 4 to 6 degrees warming of the planet? Who's going to pay the damages? Perhaps the coal geologists can now earn a living finding coal seams in the Upper Hunter and pounding a sign on top of them saying, "Danger, do not disturb, hazardous material." In conclusion, our leaders must do a full and honest costing of the pollution damage from coal mining and burning. Damages to the health of people, plants, and animals. Damages to the ecosystems that sustain all life on this planet. Let them add to this costing the hidden subsidies governments give to the coal industry. Then there will be no mistake. Coal mining is a net liability for society. We can't afford it. We must exercise the political will to make the transition to renewables. Thank you.